Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet the Dean of the School of Law for Texas A&M. He's based in Fort Worth, and he's determined to make sure it's not the best kept secret in Texas. His incredible story just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, in the great state of Texas, there are many schools of law, but there's one school of law in Fort Worth that is really making a name for itself in a hurry. Joining us now on the Jeff Crilley Show is the Dean of the School of Law. It's Robert Ahdieh. Thanks for coming on the show.
Great honor to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Now, I detect a little Texas accent. Is that far East Texas? Where?
I like to say when people ask where are you from, of course, I immediately respond, Texas. And they look at me kind of suspicious and they'll say, where in Texas? And I say Northeast Texas. And after a pause, I say way, way, way Northeast Texas, a little town called New York. I think it's still there.
All right. What brought you to Texas?
So I have been in the higher education business, the law school business, for a long time now. I was a practicing lawyer before that. But then I began my career in academia at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. Spent about 18 years there on the faculty, the latter half of which I also became an administrator. I was an associate dean, a vice dean, and then I was recruited to come here to Texas to become the second kind of real dean of Texas A&M University School of Law, a relatively new law school established here in Fort Worth.
Absolutely, and you're connected to Tarleton, which is has been a client of ours for many, many years. They're based in Stephenville, but you've got a big thing going on in Fort Worth. And one of the pride and joys is the law school. So we found a great video. Let's go ahead and roll that now.
Being a part of Texas A&M gets you not just a degree, but you gain the network of alumni, and that is an invaluable resource.
With 500,000 plus members of the Aggie Network nationwide, there's always someone wearing the ring around.
It's not just those great stats, which we certainly have, it's that community feel. And everyone here is just really invested in your success, and you'll feel it.
My colleagues are wonderful. The other members of the faculty are ambitious, but at the same time, good people.
Texas A&M creates leaders. Not about teaching what the law is today, it's teaching about how to think outside the box for tomorrow.
We want to make sure that we are meeting the needs of students today and meeting them where they are, rather than simply saying, we've done this in the past and therefore we're going to keep doing it. Our faculty are constantly asking the question about how we can innovate, how we can supplement, how we can add to our curriculum in order to make it more effective.
And when we think about some of the best schools of law in the state of Texas, we think about names like SMU, UT, Baylor, but you guys are really shaking things up. You're number 2 now?
We are. It's been a big change, and I think actually a healthy thing for Texas as a whole, for legal education and also for the legal profession. That A&M acquired the law school in 2013, and then it was a little bit of a dog catches car situation. I think once they had the law school, they weren't quite sure what to do with it, but they figured we might as well invest and do something big, and really have kind of invested in the high quality faculty, staff, students, programs to elevate it such that we moved from an unranked law school at the time A&M acquired it to now number 22 in the country and number 2 in the state of Texas. Incredible. Congratulations. We're going to scroll down the website. Let's talk about attracting top talent. Is it tough to attract great talent? So what I tell people is, I said, people are really excited to be part of something bigger than themselves. Of course, you've got to offer competitive salaries, good work conditions, good support, so on and so forth. But what we have found in terms of recruiting faculty, staff, and even students, they're excited about, being part of this kind of what I call the next great American law school, this building project that we're engaged in. For the substantive building, the physical buildings that we're building now, but really the core content that reflects a high quality higher education institution. And so really it hasn't been very tough for us. We have found a lot of folks who are really excited to be here in Texas, to be here in North Texas, to be in Fort Worth, and to be at the law school.
Right before we were visiting, you rattled off some statistics that blew me away. Highest passage rate for the bar. Rattle off some of those statistics.
Sure. So again, you can look at overall ranking. It's come a long way. But as importantly as the overall top line number, we're interested in the fundamentals of the quality of our students, the quality of the institution. So we have the highest incoming undergraduate GPA of any law school in the country, one of the highest incoming LSAT medians in the country. In terms of outcomes, as you were mentioning, Jeff, we have seen incredible results in the bar exam for the last several years. We've had the highest bar passage rate in Texas, and for the last several years, we've also had the highest employment rate of any law school in the entire country.
And what do you attribute that to?
So I think it's, again, incredible students you bring in the door. You put them in front of incredible faculty, right? So faculty who really are not just knowledgeable and thoughtful and smart about what they do, but really care deeply about student success and about the achievements of their students. So you put them together, you have a staff support structure that really ensures that those things come together effectively. And it's not surprising that you get these incredible results. I tell people, we in higher education are really in the human capital business. And if you're good at human capital, good at recruiting, good at retaining, good at building up the strengths of those who are part of your community, these are the kinds of results you can see.
And there are some huge law firms in the state of Texas. Is the word out? I mean, when you're graduating students, they know that this means something?
Great question. I mean, so lawyers, I love lawyers. I'm one of them, but we can be somewhat slow to reset our perceptions. We're a conservative bunch, not necessarily politically, but in the sense of, slow to kind of change what we view as the circumstance and the reality. So we are seeing that change. It's not quite where I'd like it to be. The folks are kind of catching up to where those things are, but we're seeing great results already. Hence the highest employment rate. This past year, the class was 100% employed, again, highest in the country. But we are still working on individual law firms, individual judges, individual public interest organizations and government offices, kind of resetting, in essence, what it is that they know about the law school and the law school landscape generally, and hopefully finding our students to be that much more attractive.
And Robert, you've been there since 2018. What's one of your proudest accomplishments?
So I would say, again, probably, I can look at the kind of the individual kind of impacts of things. Probably the biggest is the student impact. I mean, the idea that we are taking students who did not have opportunities of the sort that we're now offering and putting those in front of them and, in ample supply. I joked once upon a time as our employment rate kept rising and rising and eventually now standing at 100% that our goal was for every student to have 2 jobs after they graduate. Now it turns out people don't want 2 jobs for some reason. So we're settled for 100%. But I'd say probably the student impact has been the most. And the other one I would say is, again, it's probably the ability of A&M to become part of this community in Fort Worth and in North Texas as a whole, that people think about the law school, people think about A&M as part of the community in a way that I don't think they did 7 years ago when I got here.
And Robert, I have to believe that the cost of tuition is much more affordable than at, say, a Baylor or a SMU.
It is, yeah. So look, one of the things that we are lucky is through state support, which the state of Texas, I have to give credit to, is incredibly generous in support of higher education. Through state support and through our efforts to make sure that we are cost effective, raising money for student scholarships, maintaining our costs at the lowest possible level, we're able to offer a high caliber, incredible caliber education, again, number 22 in the country, but at a fraction of the cost of many other schools. And for students who, are going to go pursue a career in private practice and, in big law or the like, that they may be able to afford the debt. But for those students who want to pursue a career in public interest, a career in public service, which we want to encourage, we want to support, it really helps for them to be able to graduate with less debt.
Tell us about the vibe, like when you walk into that beautiful building that we just saw. What's the culture like?
Great. So I give A&M credit to begin with. I tell people I'm an adopted Texan, an adopted Aggie. And so I'm sort of new to all of this. But I give the university credit that, they're the largest university in the state of Texas, probably one of the 2 or 3 largest universities in the entire country. But they have found a way, even with 80,000 students, to create this strong sense of community, right? That's impressive. I mean, that's not easily accomplished. We've been able to sort of, steal a little bit of that magic and bring it to North Texas, to bring it to Fort Worth, because the community at the law school, I think, sells the place as much as anything. Students who are choosing, even outside of Texas, they're choosing between Ivy League schools and top schools around the country. They come and they spend an afternoon or a day with their future classmates, with the faculty, with the staff, and they see this group that really just wants to connect with them and wants them to be part of the community. So that, I think, does a huge amount of work. And I'll say, I think Texas gets credit for that too. For the non-Texans that we're bringing to the state, they really feel incredibly welcome. What they read in the press oftentimes will make them feel kind of like, oh, I don't know about Texas. But then they come and they spend a day or two with us, and they really feel welcome, not just by the law school community, but really by the entire community around them.
Well, I know you're competitive, so if it goes UT #1 and the School of Law for A&M #2, how quickly do you displace them?
All right, so good. You sound like an Aggie. And particularly my Aggie bosses, or overlords as they call them. So look, so what I would say is, again, the impact that A&M has had in making this movement from unranked to #2 in the state is that I think every law school has upped its game. And that's great. I think that's great for the individual schools. It's great for their students. It's great for the legal community and the legal profession more broadly, not just in Texas, but around the country, that schools are working harder and doing better and so on and so forth. So really, if the truth of the matter is, I hope that every law school in Texas gets better and better. That said, it's our job to continue to invest in excellence at the law school. And we've made far more progress than anyone could have imagined. If someone had said 12 years ago when A&M acquired this unranked law school that it would be number 22 in the country, 12 years later, no one would have believed it for a moment. Even frankly, if someone had said it 5 years ago, my guess is that I and others would have been fairly suspicious about whether that was realistic. But we're here. We will continue to rise, and I'm hopeful that we'll be in the top 20 within the next couple of years. And then, we go from there. It does become a little bit of a football game, I suppose. We'll have to see who wins on any given Saturday.
Outstanding. We've got about a minute left, so talk to that future student on why they might want to visit your campus.
So really, I would say, again, as much as anything else, the community is central to that, right? So again, you're going to spend 3 years in law school as a JD student, and if we have other master's degree and other programs that you spend a year, but whatever the length of time, you want it to be a community that will be supportive of you while you're there for those 3 years. The second thing is you want it to be a community that will support you after graduation, and there's really no network that's more supportive than the Aggie network. And so those are the things that I would highlight most of all.
Absolutely. That ring means something, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Okay. You've been an amazing guest. We're going to end with the law firm or the law website, which is law.tamu.edu. The great Robert Ahdieh. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
You bet.
Great
That's
pleasure.
it for now. We'll see you next time.